On the 25th of April, Sargon of Akkad uploaded a video titled Bamn are a Violent Cult, in which he very poignantly illustrates the title of his video to be a correct statement. I was honestly late to the party, but agreed with his assessment of, and I'm sorry, but this is the full name, the Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action, Integration, and Immigrant Rights, and Fight for Equality by Any Means Necessary, or Bamn. And on the 30th of May, took the liberty of sending an email to the International Cultic Studies Association, from here on out, just ICSA, regarding the group. I was interested to know why they didn't have anything on the group on their website. My initial hypothesis was that given there are over 5,000 cults in the US alone, that they were short-handed. And sure enough, that was exactly the case. So I took the liberty of sending them all the material Sargon referenced in his video and more. Material on the organization, Shanta Driver, Yvette Falarka, Eric Clanton, and the mayor of Berkeley, a city I don't even live in. Imagine my surprise when today I find from a friend that the whole AntiFa group, which Bamn is a mere subset of, was in fact declared a domestic terrorist organization by the New Jersey Homeland Security Department, which I immediately sent to ICSA when the chance presented itself. I will be contacting the New Jersey Homeland Security Department after the holidays in hopes of gathering more material for ICSA, which I am not a member of. Honestly, I didn't think to even contact ICSA for quite a while because it never actually crossed my mind, and in reality only did so when I was reading an article on Krishna consciousness. Now, this video is meant to ask that if you see such cultic groups like Bamn in the future, please check with ICSA, check their records, and if they don't have anything on the cultic group in question, please just contact them and send them your research. Now, I know most people have never heard of ICSA and might be wondering, why would I bother helping them with this issue? Well, ICSA's own summary of their mission sums it up. Helping psychologically and or spiritually abused persons and their families, educating the public, and researching the issues. That's a good mission. They host a number of informative talks on the YouTube channel, so I would suggest that you go watch their videos, even if you don't subscribe to them. Now, on to what happened recently with the Homeland Security Department. Let's read the article. Anarchist extremists, AntiFa. Background. Anti-fascist groups, or AntiFa, are a subset of the anarchist movement and focus on issues involving racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, as well as other perceived injustices. Self-described AntiFa groups have been established across the United States in several major cities, including New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and San Francisco. A majority of New Jersey-based anarchist groups are affiliated with the AntiFa movement and are opposed to fascism, racism, and law enforcement. AntiFa groups coordinate regionally and have participated in protests in New York City and Philadelphia. There are 3 loosely organized chapters in New Jersey, known as North Jersey AntiFa, South Jersey AntiFa, and Hub City AntiFa, New Brunswick, Middlesex County. In December 2016, a group known as the Anti-Fascist Action Nebraska engaged in a doxing campaign against a prominent member of American Vanguard, a white supremacist organization. The group published his personal information on several social media platforms, then posted flyers on the University of Nebraska Omaha campus calling for his expulsion. On March 28th, a small fight occurred between AntiFa members and supporters of the U.S. president during a rally in Seaside Heights, Ocean County. Because of the advanced publicity about the event on social media, local and state law enforcement officers were able to keep altercations to a minimum. AntiFa inciting violence towards far-right extremists. Violent confrontations between AntiFa members and white supremacists, as well as militia groups, will likely continue because of the ideological differences and AntiFa's ability to organize on social media. In the past year, AntiFa groups have become active across the United States, employing a variety of methods to disrupt demonstrations. On April 18th, following the Patriot Day free speech rally in Berkeley, California, which turned violent, an AntiFa member wrote, "Every Nazi that gets punched is a victory. We must realize these days are going to become more and more common unless we put a nail in the coffin once and for all." On March 29th, a response to an AntiFa post on social media, a national militia group wrote in an online article, "Whenever their kind, AntiFa, assumes power, individual freedom, including freedom of speech and worship, is brutally suppressed." Beginning in March, the Philadelphia AntiFa chapter used Facebook to encourage followers to disrupt a Make America Great Again event in Philadelphia, resulting in over 300 participants. AntiFa's presence resulted in law enforcement shutting down the event for safety concerns. As of May, a manual on how to form an AntiFa group posted on a well-known anarchist website in February had approximately 13,500 views. On February 1st, the University of California, Berkeley, canceled approximately 100 AntiFa members, but canceled a controversial speaker's appearance following a protest by approximately 100 AntiFa members in response to far-right extremists assembled at free speech rallies, which AntiFa members disrupted, resulting in 10 arrests and 7 injuries. Additionally, on April 15th, AntiFa and far-right extremists clashed at a demonstration, leading to 23 arrests and 11 injuries. Recent anarchist and white supremacist confrontations. On February 11th, members of the 211 Crew and 211 Booth Boys, a white supremacist gang, allegedly attacked 2 brothers at a New York City bar after seeing a New York anti-fascist sticker on the back of one of the victims' cell phones, according to New York authorities. In June 2016, 300 counter-protesters, including anarchist extremists, attacked 25 members of the white supremacist Traditionalist Worker Party with knives, bottles, bricks, and concrete from a construction site while rallying at California State Capitol, Sacramento, injuring 200. So, that is the full article. And there's a couple of interesting things to note here. One is, these people are not anarchists. These are totalitarians. If you're looking for an actual anarchist philosophy, look at anarcho-capitalism, anarcho-conservatism. If you look at things like anarcho-communism or anarcho-syndicalism or AntiFa, you're not going to get a good idea of what an actual anarchist would believe. These are straw anarchists, which is mind-boggling because they take their own straw seriously. Let's see. They're definitely not against fascism. These people are fascists. You disagree with them? Oh boy. Let's see. They are definitely not against racism. Affirmative action by its very nature is racist. It may not be the kind of racist where along the lines of, well, you're black so you shouldn't be doing this. It's more along the lines of, well, you're an ethnic minority, so you can't do this on your own. You need some kind of a help from Big Brother, some legal protection, which, as David Wood points out, is a form of racism. If you hold people to a different standard based on their race, you are a racist because you are assuming they cannot live up to the same standard as everyone else. If you assume in this particular case that if you put a person who's white, a person who's black, and a person who's Native American up to the same job, let's say a theoretical physicist, and you assume that you need laws set in place because the Native American and the black guy can't handle it or can't make it on their own, you're a racist and you need to apologize to Sylvester James Gates Jr. I'm just saying, one of the most brilliant men I've ever seen. Or if you assume they can't be economists on their own because they're not white, so they need help, you need to apologize to Walter Williams and Thomas Sowell. The idea that somehow your race disadvantages you is absurd. It implies that there is a real intellectual difference between the races, which I don't find very compelling. That when it would fit the categorization of racism. I don't think that they're anti-Semitic. That part would shock me if that turned out to be true. But I haven't seen a lot of what they've said about Jews in particular. Let's see. Against sexism. I don't know if I believe that either. These guys, the more I read about them, the more they seem like, you're a fucking white male kind of person. That would still be sexist, even if it's direct against dudes. Still sexist. They're definitely against law enforcement. They do not like cops. They do not like cops at all. And as the article has already said, these people shut down organizations because of safety concerns. They're so dangerous at a lot of these groups that the police and the city will shut it down just to avoid a confrontation with these people. I don't really care about their contact with white supremacists. I myself am not white. I am an ethnic minority. I've never really had too much of a problem with racism in general, so it's just never become a concern of mine. I just leave them be. They're not really my concern. Far-right extremists is another thing I would like to pick at. What exactly is a far-right extremist? They seem to imply here that a far-right extremist and a white supremacist are the same, which is not particularly true. Let's take, for example, Milo Yiannopoulos, who I would not call an extremist. Maybe my conditional for extremism is a bit higher than most people, but that's just how it is. Milo Yiannopoulos is definitely not a white supremacist. My favorite comeback to a liberal he's ever had is, if I must be the most self-loathing white supremacist in history, considering how much black dick I've had in my mouth. I laughed my ass off for like 30 minutes when he said that. I could not stop laughing. He's not a white supremacist. He's definitely proud of being white, but you can be proud of your background without being a racist. You can, for example, be proud of being Native American. There's plenty to be proud of in Native American culture. You can be proud of being Chinese. There's plenty in Chinese history that to be proud of. You could be British. You could be American. You could be. You could just consider yourself an American, or you could consider yourself a Texan. I know they're not races, but they're still your peoples in those cases. There's nothing wrong with being proud of those particular groups, because there is plenty to be proud of in those groups. There's plenty bad in each of those histories too, but there's plenty to be proud of still. So I don't think that this article is being very kind to Antifa's opposition by assuming that they're all right-wing extremists. I have a hunch that they are inappropriately pairing people like the alt-right into this, which I'm not alt-right. I am a anarcho-capitalist, and I have a bone to pick with that if they're doing this, because it's just not accurate. If you want a good, accurate concept of what an alt-right is, you might want to go to Conservapedia. Well, there you go. Apparently, Antifa is also a terrorist organization, not just a cult. So that happened. As of right now, for future videos, eventually I will start posting on a far more regular basis various topics, but my editing capacity as of right now is extremely limited, as you can tell by the video you just watched if you got to this part. I'm currently in the process of building myself a new computer that will actually be able to do the things I need it to do in order to make videos for this channel. So that's all I wanted to comment on right now. I sent material on Bamn to ICSA. If you have any information on other cultic groups, contact ICSA. Sargon of Akkad did an excellent job. And props to the New Jersey Homeland Security Department for calling a spade, even if they did make a couple of inaccurate assessments in their fundamental article. So this was a Cosmic Otaku signing out.